Hey, electrical contractors, this is Jeremy from Oxner Insurance. I don't know, maybe you put this electrical stuff in for this beautiful new project. But hey, as they say in baseball, 1 out of 3, if you bat 333, what are you gonna make? $25 million a year nowadays? So if you have one of the 3 or more of what I'm gonna share next, this video might be for you. Do you have 10 employees? 5 million in top line revenue? How about a person who pays your invoices? Yeah, just one of those 3 can put you at risk in the cyber world. So come and check out our video on cyber insurance for service contractors. Today's episode is for service contractors, plumbers, HVAC, electrical, low voltage. Yeah, for you. In this class of business, there is quite a bit of personally identifiable information. So, ransomware is probably the number one way that the bad guys are going to try to lock down your system and hold you ransom and want $50,000 of Bitcoin or whatever they're charging these days as the price of Bitcoin has gone up and other cryptocurrencies. But you have quite a bit of personally identifiable information as a service contractor. And so cybersecurity is extremely important. And we all know ransomware, that's what we just described. But a couple other things to consider. Number one is payment card data. What if the bad guy gets into the payment card data through social engineering where they trick an employee into giving credentials? And now they drop their own malware onto whatever payment processing platform you're utilizing, and they're sending the payment information to their server along when your authorizations are going to your payment processor server. Now, they'll tell you about PCI compliance and all these other things, but that's how data breaches have happened. And so now you have exposure for that personally identifiable information in the form of credit cards and expiration dates. And there can be losses for the funds being transferred, those cards being stolen. And also then you have monitoring fees and things of that nature for folks' credit that have been affected by the data breach. So data breach, that's a big one to keep an eye on. We touched about social engineering, and that could be multifaceted in the approach. Thankfully, I'm not a bad guy, so I don't think like a bad guy. I just know a few things that they've attempted. And so social engineering, they might be able to get in and grab credentials of corporate bank accounts and drain the bank accounts and siphon it off into the bad guys' bank accounts through social engineering, whether they're using an employee and tricking them and so on and so forth. So they're basically acting like somebody that the employee thinks is the right person. Instead, it's actually the bad guy. Another one is invoice manipulation. One of the reasons that we recommend fast detection as fast as possible, as fast as what your budget can determine, meaning how fast can the IT infrastructure figure out that the bad guy is actually on the network. Why? Because if they figure out how you're paying invoices, and if you think about big orders for conduit, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, big commercial jobs, you're paying invoices, large invoices, right? I mean, we're not paying $3 nuts and bolts invoices. These are bigger invoices. And if the bad guy's able to learn how your specific service contractor is paying those invoices, they can clone the invoice, and whether it's coming from the vendor or vice versa, you sending out an invoice, they could clone it. Now they know your practices. When they clone the invoice, it goes out through the normal channels. The person pays the invoice, but instead of it going to the vendor bank account or to the service contractor bank account, it goes to the bad guy's bank account. And now we have to have forensics to come in and figure out, well, what is going on? Is the bad guy still on the network? what's the actual ramifications, and then, are there any legal ramifications for state or local agencies that need to be taken care of with legal advice. And so those are three things that you can think about as a service contractor. You've got ransomware, you have social engineering, you have invoice manipulation, and then you have payment card data breach. Think about those things as you're considering your IT infrastructure. Have a conversation with your managed services provider if you do not have internal IT. And if you don't have cyber insurance, contact your agent and talk about the coverages that are needed to protect your service contractor business.